scoff, cut their circulation off. If they do not see the joke, pull the rope, just let them choke.
You know how concerned people are about appearances. This is attractive, that is not. That is all behind me. I dream. I make art until someone dies. See? I am the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist.
The time for sorrow has passed. It's time to look ahead to a future filled with smiles. And I'll be smiling again, just as soon as we take that man there and slap him in that box there and roll it into that vat of acid there.
You wanna know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend. And one night, he goes off crazier than usual. Mommy gets the kitchen knife to defend herself. He doesn't like that. Not one bit. So, me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. He turns to me, and he says, "Why so serious?"
Bring the car around. We're going for a drive.
Yes, I'm more than a man. I'm an idea, a philosophy, and I will live on in the shadows within Gotham's discontent. The face of true sanity. But looks aren't everything. I have a compendium of Jerome's obsessions and goals, and I will outdo every one of them.
Friends, family, homeless people, we are gathered here in remembrance of Jerome Valeska. So let's get this party started. And then there'd be sound effects, whoop whoop, if I want to put in an air horn or something. That's right. It is the wake of Jerome Valeska, that old corpse.
Let us all get drunk and play ping pong.
This is the Gotham Chronicle podcast, Jerome's Wake. I'm Josh, and joining me as my fellow pallbearers is...
I had a joke, but I forgot about it. This is Donovan.
This is Harley.
That's right. Harley is taking over for Jan this week for reasons. And this is what was this episode called? That Old Corpse. Yes, That Old Corpse. It is Jerome's Wake, and really we kind of only have one plot line this week. It's just like everyone's kind of tied into the same plot line of like the party of Jerome's Wake, and there's a few things going on. It begins innocently enough with Gordon breaking every single ethics rule ever and like offering to cut a deal with his ex-fiancée so that she won't be charged for crimes.
I thought that he was pretty on the straight and narrow in this. Was he trying to? I thought that
he was saying I can help you. Give up Nigma and like I'll get you house arrest or something. I mean,
what police do?
It's a little shady because you're offering a deal to a bank robber because you happen to share a home with her at one point. It's
share a bed that like Nathaniel Barnes would call in the middle of the night to talk about how much people they're going to kill.
Yeah. Watch season 2, folks. That was an actual scene that happened.
You're going to be very busy. I'm so excited.
It's 3 a.m., Barnes. Can we talk about this more?
I'll talk about like how you're just going to shoot a bunch of people that are going to be dead.
And Barnes became a serial killer, and Lee became a bank robber. And
Josh and I told Harry about that, and he
man,
up.
The GCPD does not have a good track record of their employees not becoming super villains.
Nigma, Barnes, Lee.
This is clearly why they need Batman, though, because they suck.
Yeah, and it's funny because Bullock's the most corrupt of them all, and he hasn't tried to rob a bank or blow up.
He's not turned into Donut Man yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing about Bullock is he's very consistent in the type of bad that he is.
Yeah, he just kind of runs off to that bar that he sometimes owns every once in a while when things get too rough. So,
how does he even afford that bar? Someone tell me.
because he doesn't spend all of his money. What did we say that Gordon was spending all of his money on? Like that's why he can't
Suits.
afford it. Yeah, he's not spending all of his money on suits like Gordon. He could afford. Also, he was taking money from Penguin. Like so.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah. So Gordon and Lee are having a conversation that I feel like would almost be obstruction of justice, but that's for
Probably.
Robert Bullock's side.
It's Gotham.
And she's like, well, you finally caught me, copper. Oh, are we role playing? I see. Yes, it's 19.
Turned into a pirate.
Are you ready, kids? Aye, Captain.
I was trying to do like the say,
Edward G.
like
Robinson.
1920s like gangster, but
Lead
like
to the R too hard.
but the problem is when you do it with the Gordon voice, you can't help but sound like a pirate.
J. Jonah Pirate.
She's like, well, what are we doing here? Is this an interrogation or are we role playing? And he like puts his pants back on. Oh yes. Interrogation, of course. Luckily, they're interrupted by Jerome's, cronies, who break in for a wake up. Yeah. First, they do get that video from Lucius of someone who very obviously is Jerome. So, meanwhile, at various points throughout town, different characters are reacting to what's going on. Like Jeremiah's like, Bruce, Jerome's come back. He's like, no, he isn't. I'll take you to his grave where his body will be dug up. Ah! I know that you're really Jerome, Bruce. I'll kill you. Meanwhile, Penguin and Butch are watching TV. To which, like, Penguin's like, "Why are you so mad at me, Butch?" To which I'm like, "Are you kidding?"
Butch said that too. He's like, are you kidding, boss? I mean, not boss, but like Penguin.
Well,
crush your head like a
you
grape.
chopped off my hand. You made me shoot fish. You all the times that you've betrayed me. It's like, yeah, but I was just kidding. It's like, all right, fine. We'll find. I love how they keep on talking about we have to get money so we could afford Hugo Strange. Like, can't they just kidnap him and like force him to like work like they do everyone?
Is Dr. Hugo Strange?
I want that parody on my desk by 5 p.m.
Awesome.
Well, I sneak around the hospitals from Arkham to Blackgate. I make
So
the monster man who has fangs and big wings. I'll make Butch into a man so he can marry Tabitha. Tell me where in the world is my
Dr. Hugo Strange.
Yeah, why would he be singing that about himself? Fuck us, because that's why.
I think He's singing to Ghost Peabody.
I think we have a talent with propositional singing. I think we really do.
We flexed those muscles a lot this year. So Penguin and Butch, decide to go to this wake at the JCPD because, they'll be able to find out the plan. And it's this weird, 7-step plan that somehow ends with, Butch getting cured when I don't know why they don't just kidnap Hugo Strange without the money.
Yeah,
but,
Penguin says, during confusion there is, maybe Riddler said that, but, it's our opportunity to do something.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Riddler, plans this heist to extract Lee from the JCPD. So, so he shows up there too. There's almost a Nick Mogbopop moment, but they don't actually run into each other. But they both break into that armored van within a minute of each other. Hooray, so the Riddler! Funny. I'm saved. So no, Lee's not in here. Hooray, the Penguin! Which every single Rogues Gallery member is known by their name. No, then a minute later, hooray! Balloon Man, you've come to save me.
He rises up in his
the
hot air
black
balloon.
guy just kicks him in the face.
Are you ever sorry for always being wrong? Sometimes.
I'm sure that every other member of Batman's Rogues Gallery, hooray, it's Bane, who's somehow here. You've come to save me. I'm not in this series yet, Bane. Hooray, it's the Sirens. We're just here for, I don't know, stupid reasons.
Hooray, it's Headhunter. Said nobody.
The second one is my signature.
I like we both did this at the same time.
Yeah, thankfully no BS Sirens baloney in this episode. So
the episode was better for it.
Yeah. So Gordon does call Alfred to warn him that Bruce might be a target, and this part actually made me laugh because he calls Alfred and Alfred picks up. He's like, Alfred, it's me, Gordon, and I'm laughing Of course it's you. Who else has a voice like that? Like, he had to identify himself to Alfred.
Joshua Lappen-Bertoni.
Fair point, but I don't call Sean Pertwee on the phone, ever. So before anything else can happen, though, Alfred gets beat up, which means that, it's another hospital visit for him.
We didn't find out what happened with that. That was a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's a cliffhanger. And let's see. So all that's going on. Gordon decides to, Bullock and Gordon have this plan about how they're going to, tear gas these people from the wake. Riddler gets in there to save Lee, and she's like, "Ow, Ed!" And they make out under the stairs like Patty Mayonnaise and Doug Funny. Yeah. You're so sexy in that clown costume. Did you bring one for me? No.
A lot of role-playing jokes in this episode already. We're like 2 minutes in.
Yeah. I'm sure Jam will have something to say about that, because she always finds the undertones, about power dynamics and BSM and stuff like that. So
BSM?
BSM. Just bondage sadomasochism. Forget the dominance part.
Well, everyone's dominant in Gotham.
Right on cue.
I don't know. We might have kids who listen to the show, but if they do, then they're corrupt long before now.
Corrupt? I mean, they're just educated. Oh my God! It's a smart woman. Burn her. She's a witch.
None of that this episode. So let's see.
Out into the back to beat them to death. No.
Yeah. Even though there was lots of plot lines in this episode, there was only one
plot.
There's
some tangents, but generally it was Jeremiah.
There was only one plot line in this episode, but there was a lot of characters running through it. So Penguin and Butch kidnap a random Jeremiah person and torture him with chicken bones for information. I love Butch. He's just totally chill in his role.
Jerome.
He's like, all right, I'll do this. And he's like, you got to understand, I need to change back. I'm a freak. And it's like, no, you're just albino with super strength. You're fine.
Oh, you missed an opportunity.
Go on.
I'm a freak. No, you're a weirdo. What the hell are you doing here? I don't belong here.
I don't
understand the reference.
It's a reference to Radiohead.
Creep song. I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo.
I mostly know that from Community because Shirley's kids sang it during the Ass Crack Bandit episode.
You've never heard the song by itself?
Once or twice, but
holy shit!
I
It's one of
the parody
all time.
Look Grundy in the eye. He doesn't talk like that anymore, but
it's not the Hulk.
Well, but at the beginning of the season, he talked like that a little bit. Yeah. So that ties up those people. Let's see. So Gordon winds up in Jeremiah's little maze thing again, where he sees Harley Quinn. No, calm down, Reddit. It's Echo, who just texted me. It's
Harley Quinn.
Oh no, it's Harley. Wait, terrible voice.
Yeah, it's not Harley, it's Echo, but that doesn't stop Reddit and YouTube from saying someone on YouTube put the Joker and Harley Quinn attack.
They totally did. I saw that and I was like, what the
Yeah. Well, and then this guy who was pretending to be a leaker, I have information about the next episode of Gotham, went onto Reddit and said, we're gonna find out in the next episode that Echo's real name is
he's a liar and a leaker.
We're gonna find out in the next episode that Echo's real name is Harleen Quinzel, but then this leaker was proven to be fake.
This
because,
leaker was choked by the real leaker on
Well, there is a real leaker on Reddit, but who said this leaker is probably a liar because their
Suicide really checks out of a guy. Wait, you're the same person.
Yeah. So then, as Gordon is watching this, he's watching Gotham on Hulu, and he says, "Wait a second, Jerome, Jeremiah."
He doesn't figure anything out. He just told everything.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, he sees the video and realizes, and Jeremiah wow, twins.
Mr.
Jerome unmasks himself as Jeremiah. So all these posthumous videos that we thought were of Jerome that he played before his death, it was actually Jeremiah in Jerome face. And I
was actually honestly confused.
I was a little bit at first.
The choking bit, what was going on there?
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, is this revealing that like Jerome was killed before he was killed, and like Jeremiah disguised as Jerome at one point? Was Jerome dead before he died, and then Jeremiah the Switcher was like, wait, that doesn't make sense because there was a chorus. But I realized within like 30 seconds, like,
but what is the answer? I mean, I honestly don't know. Was he kidding when he was choking?
Okay, so he it was a metaphor. He was like using camera tricks, but like Jerome was not in any of those videos. Jeremiah did those videos pretending to be Jerome and pretended that Jerome recorded those before his death. None of those were actually Jerome.
Jan, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the whole choking bit, which it was just him like jerking around.
Yeah, he was joking around.
Because it was meant to be confusing. Because I was watching it like, what? Because then you see him like dying, and it's like, okay, what?
It's a metaphor for him killing his brother.
There's a third Jerome twin.
That was the surprise. My name is
Janice.
Jackson Valeska. I was hidden away from my two other brothers.
Jarek. My name is Jarek. Or Jerry. Or Gerald.
By season like 7, like Gordon's like, we have to stop Justin Valestra.
Valestra. His whole last name changes too.
The hell with this?
Yeah. Apparently, like Jerome's mom, like had like set octuplets or something. Like
Jerome's mom plus 8
from The Adventures of Tintin. It's just like they just keep on coming.
And a bomb blows up, presumably killing Gordon. And like there's
finally
yeah, I know. Like, who would have thought that he'd die? And apparently they're going to keep up with that for like part of the next episode because they've already shown like clips of the next like episode. They accidentally released those. It's weird, but they released previews for this episode, but they accidentally did it for like 2 episodes ahead, and they had to like take them off of social media. But people already posted it, and like into the next
saying to Gordon, "We hardly knew he."
Well, like, well into the next episode, there's 2 clips of, like, people saying, yep, Gordon's... including, like, Barbara, who, like, seems like she could care less, you know? Aaron Richards thinking they're gonna get married, my butt. Like, and so that happens, Jeremiah also reveals himself and, like, takes off his face makeup and reveals himself to the followers and to Bruce and, like, throws Bruce into an empty grave and basically says that he's going to do things that his brother never dreamed of. And he and Echo get ready to destroy the city with these little like arc reactor bombs that they stole from Tony Stark.
The light shows.
So I'd like to start with Don, since he did not have a good week last week. I want to know if this took some of the bad taste from his mouth.
Are we just going to start with the main one, or like hit the little ones first?
I was going to give like just brief overall thoughts.
Okay, brief overall thoughts.
Oh, we're all still on overall thoughts. Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
That was just a very long recap.
I'm still waking up. You're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, alright, so... Alright, look.
Uh-oh.
Solid start.
This is actually really cool. Honestly, like when I was watching... And I explained off air that, like, I was kind of traveling across the city because as we recorded, this is free comic book day, so I thought I'd splurge some money and buy some stuff. I got the Hardak Batman Funko Pop because I've been meaning to get that for a while. And,
oh, cool!
And I was watching, like, the scenes of like in the GCPD with Riddler assembling his gang and Gordon and Lee talking. And I was like, okay, this is Gotham by the numbers. I have nitpicks, but they're not really worth bringing them now. And the Bruce and Jeremiah thing was going on. And it's like, okay, this is interesting. I really couldn't plainly kind of predict where it was going. I knew that, like, okay, Jeremiah is probably a bad guy, but they're not giving us an obvious route to that. Although he's probably tricking Bruce. But once the switch is turned and Gordon is kind of in that trapped house, and he's wiping his face on that kind of stuff, I was like, you know what? I hate to say this because I'm so toxic over the show. But as I squeeze blood out of my fist, this is probably some of the best Gotham's ever been. This is really, really good. And I'm like, this is actually kind of inspired because we'll get into it. But like when they did the whole idea of like, well, Jerome was the archetypical Joker, and this is a new version. I was like, they're putting a lot of eggs in the basket to kind of pull that off. But Gary Monaghan is like dragging this show, kicking and screaming, into a realm of quality. And
how dare you make us good?
Yeah, I know. It's like once he turned that gun on that guy, like Gotham kills people all the time, but like that actually had like an impact just because of the look on his face and like just the stuff he was saying. Like you hear that sound? That is a very bad sound. And like him saying, this is the face of true sanity. I was like, this is fucking. So like, color me impressed. This doesn't take back what I said about the last episode, but like this was pretty damn cool. It's kicked ass.
John.
Who's John? I'm kidding.
It's your French counterpart.
Jean. No, like seriously, I expect. There was like some things that I expected, and those things went off as expected. But yeah, the whole Jerome Jeremiah thing, I was just like, because the way they played it played like a regular Gotham episode, where like, okay, for some reason Jerome had all this planned out after he died.
Yeah, right.
So you're just sitting there like par for the course, whatever. And then you get to the whole big reveal where it's Jeremiah doing it the whole time, and I was like, oh god, this makes so much sense. And then I was just sitting there like, and I told you I was watching this with my boyfriend, and he was
careful. We're gonna get a letter about that in a year. Like, is Jan still with that guy?
Continuity.
Don't make fun of the people that are curious. It's just me.
I'm glad that they're invested in our lives.
It's actually kind of weird because I'm not used to it. Not creepy, but weird. But yeah, so he'd never seen any other episode of this show, and he does not read comic books. So the most thing that he knows about Batman is that he's rich, has orphans, wears a bat suit, and drives a fancy car. That's about it.
He has orphans.
Yeah, that's it. So he was all like, yeah, no, this is like really good. And I'm like, I know. Like, he could hear me, like, because I was like, I'm really sorry I'm making you watch this. I just don't want to watch it by myself. And you're here, and it'll, like, be an experience. And he's like, okay. He's like, he was like, I was expecting this to be a lot worse. And, like, he was with me, and every time Jim did something, he had, like, every complaint that we ever had. He was like, but why is this happening?
Good man.
This doesn't make sense. He liked, like, we both, like, the Riddler and,
Marina background.
The Riddler and Lee was solid. I did like the random inserts of Penguin and Butch because they lightened up the mood, because that episode was like ridiculously heavy, and I was all like, this doesn't feel like a Gotham show. What's happening? Because, oh my god, they just need to make it the Jerome and Bruce show, and then just do that. It's
Jerome
fine.
Dead.
Yes, but you know what I mean. Like the Jerome Jeremiah, the Valeska and Bruce show. That's what I need.
Batman versus the Joker #1 every episode.
Yes. Oh my god, it's so good. When he turned around and said, "You are my very best friend," I was like laying on the floor. I was laying on the floor, like, oh my god. Oh my god,
Shipper.
that was so good. That was me. But yeah, those are my feelings.
This played with my expectations in a good way. Obviously, we knew that like Jeremiah was going to become an evil Joker, but we didn't know like what road they were taking. So I was legitimately surprised when they did the switch. And a few weeks ago, like when we kind of knew what direction the plot was heading in, I was hesitant. I'm like, why are we going to kill Jerome just for his evil twin to take over? That's kind of a waste. And it's like, and I was even bringing up what Davi Mazal said. He said, like, this is going to be one of the most brilliant things that Gotham's ever done. I don't see what's going to make this so brilliant, but, you know, I'll hold out until, like, it happens, and then I'll judge it. And I'm glad that I held out because this was good. And I usually like the episodes better where, like, instead of multiple plot lines, it's kind of everyone reacting to the same plot line. So this was fun, having all the characters come to the same like plot line, even if they didn't interact, like, you know, Penguin, Butch, and the Riddler. And yeah, like Jan, I loved Penguin and Butch this episode. They were hilarious. And
the Penguin and the Butch. The Penguin and the Butch.
One is a genius, the other will.
The other is
Crunch.
Butch.
Narf. or it's Grundy and Cobblepot. You got to pick something that you can rhyme with. So
The
like
Grundy and the Ed.
or
well,
they're not friends anymore.
I know, but that would have made more sense because Pinky and the Brain, Grundy and the Ed.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you got to have the you got to have the smart one last. So I guess that would be Penguin, or like or. Oh, okay. We'll brainstorm song parodies later. But yeah, generally, I liked this episode, and most of my thoughts about why I liked it will go over on our beat by beat. So our first discussion point that I'd like to do is Jeremiah, once he revealed himself, and how we thought about that. One of my biggest fears was that it was just going to be Jerome 2.0. And I was, why kill off someone who's been doing this stuff for years if you're just going to have someone do the same thing? And I'm glad they put all those fears to bed for me. Because I was like, okay, he's not going to be derivative of his brother. He threw his brother's diary in there. These are just insane plans. I'm going to be doing smart stuff. And then he basically rejected. We saw him do the Jerome stuff this episode, and then at the end he just rejected it. That's not my ideology. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm nothing like this. I was really worried with that diary at the beginning. I was like, oh no, is he going to I'm going to do everything in my brother's diary, or something, or, but yes, this was a wake for Jerome in more ways than one, not in just a traditional wake, but in just the spirit of him. Where he's inspired by Jerome, but he's not Jerome. And someone brought up on Reddit too that, they kept the whole vagueness of the Joker's origin, where there's open-ended questions about the Joker's origin, and what's true and what isn't. And someone brought up that is Jeremiah lying when he says that the gas actually only affected him cosmetically, it didn't drive him insane? Or is Bruce right where he says no, it did drive you insane? So was Jeremiah insane before or after the gas, or did the gas just affect him cosmetically like he claims? So I kind of like that too. My only thing is, Cameron Monaghan, they're both Cameron Monaghan, but Jerome was kind of like a Heath Ledger-ish Joker, I would say, whereas...
He was every Joker except for Jared.
I'm feeling like Jeremiah is a very Jack Nicholson Joker so far, and I kind of want him to let loose in a non-Jerome way a little more. I almost felt like he was too calm, and there's calm versions of the Joker, like Dark Knight Returns and the first Joker story in Batman issue 1, but I would like to see him do some more Joker things, but not in a Jerome way, if that makes sense. So what do you guys all think?
Stealing children's report cards and stuff.
I don't know. I feel like
making meat pies.
I feel like, oh god, I feel like he's supposed to be a more of a foil. I don't really mind the calmness. I think it's because insanity comes in different ways. Because you can be extremely calm. You've seen those villains is all Ozymandias and
Watchmen.
Watchmen. He was all yeah, the only reason I'm telling you this now is because I executed my plan 30 minutes ago. He was very calm.
You'll never get away with this.
He was very, very calm about his monologuing, and he sounded absolutely crazy. So it doesn't really that kind of... I actually like those kind of villains. I don't need them to be manic. And this is their take on...
Shouldn't the Joker be manic, though?
Well,
this is Gotham's take on the Joker. It's supposed to be unique. He doesn't have to be manic. And they already did the other Joker.
Plus, every single other villain is manic as well, like Mad Hatter, or Penguin, or Galavan. We've had a plethora of sort of cackling villains, which kind of diluted the uniqueness of the Joker. So you brought it up yourself that Dark Knight Returns Joker doesn't laugh until the very until he dies. He's very kind of calm and cool. I was trying to think of more of a Grant Morrison kind of Joker who was really diabolical, but also kind of very kind of slick and smart and stuff. And as you bring up, the first time we see him in Bat number 1, he's not really like cackling all the time. He's just kind of carrying out his plans. So I feel that like this is legitimately the birth of this kind of new version. So we'll see where it goes. But I'm not really feeling a complaint because of a lack of sort of like energy so far. The only thing I'm kind of curious about is like I'm wondering if his hair's meant to be green or if like that didn't happen because his lips are red. So I was wondering like how far they're gonna go with that.
People have been dissecting that online, like looking at different photos of him. Like, does his hair look green in this photo or not? And I'm okay if his hair is not green right now or for a while, because as long as he encompasses like the spirit of the Joker, which is kind of happening right now, and he's wearing the purple suit and everything. Like, I don't need green hair, and also like Batman hasn't appeared yet. And I guess one of the showrunners did say in an interview that like they might not call him the Joker like in the dialogue of the show.
That's very Snydery of them. Like they're calling him Superman.
That's fine to me. I mean,
I don't call him Joker.
Well, I don't think it's for Snyder reasons. I don't think it's like it stands for hope, or anything.
Well, no, it's just like actually that's not fair to the show because they call Riddler and Penguin all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly not shy,
Yeah. But even like I think I was kind of going back to like the fact that like in BVS I think they hardly call him Batman. It's like the Bat of Gotham. It's like screw off. But like it's interesting that it wouldn't do that because every other villain except for Selina has been kind of labeled. I guess Poison Ivy too.
But he has been called just the Bat before.
But they did that like over excess. Like they were afraid to call him Batman, even though the title of the goddamn movie is Batman. If you had seen it, you kind of see what I'd be getting at.
Yeah, but I don't watch movies with Ben Affleck in them because I enjoy life.
Wow.
Well, I don't anymore after seeing that. Come at me, bros. I mean, what I
did last year.
What I liked, and you kind of, I think one of you brought it up, is that whereas Jerome was kind of the more manic, violent take on the Joker, the Joker is supposed to be like a chemical genius, and a
mastermind.
Yeah, this one is explicitly smart, and his ego is kind of expressed through that. I really liked how he was played here.
I know.
Because he was like he didn't like start just like opening up a Tommy gun shooting people. He was like are you gonna listen to me or act like children? I was like, that's cool, and like how he was just very. I mean, I don't know how that guy did it, but he really played him well. I'm interested to see.
I was gonna say attractive because he was very attractive.
Sure, why not?
Like he had that crazy look in his eyes that I like.
Is he wearing contacts? Like the actor?
Yes.
That's interesting.
I think so. His eyes were like really light.
Yeah, once he jokered out, his eyes when
he turned around and he took off his contacts.
I'm gonna link a picture to you guys from that they posted on Reddit.
Is it Harley Quinn?
It's Harley.
Well, she did have the hat on, so I can understand why people are like, "Oh my god, it's Harley!" Like I was like, "Well, I guess so."
It was evocative of that. Yeah, that's true.
Clowns have jesters. Like jesters have been around since like before Harley Quinn. Like when you go to the circus,
but a Harlequin is also a jester.
Well, yeah, but when you go to the circus and you see like a jester, you don't say, "Oh my gosh, that's supposed to be Harley Quinn from Batman."
Well, this is a Joker kind of thing, so I get where they're going at, and it's a blonde lady in the wig, or in the cowl, but still no. No, but I think that like I am a little concerned about the question of is the idea that Jerome made him this way because of the gas, or is it like he was always this way? But if he was always this way, then like how was this a plan from a long time ago, or is this kind of spontaneous? Like I would look.
He was kind of sick. Like when we first met him, like he locked his brother in like a dungeon maze and was like, "I'm gonna hold him, not you guys."
Because he was a serial killer. I mean, I don't think that was crazy. Exactly.
He also like manipulated his brother's life, saying that he was a terrible human since they were young. He was not a good egg. He was not the good brother.
Yeah,
he was already a messed up brother. And I think what happened when gas released into his face, and then he got that whole cosmetic change, it cracked him. So his brother actually did drive him insane, but he didn't have to do it with the gas. He just gave him that one bad day / push.
And remember the first time we met Echo, like he has this enforcer going around that's like putting people in like dog cages, and I don't think he hired Echo like that day. She'd been working for him for a while. So when you're hiring your own like female enforcers who are like that, I don't know. It just means that you're up to no good. I don't think he just kept her around for the day that his brother broke out.
And also, he was like super obsessed with like being better than his brother too.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
so
guess.
there was
hold on.
insanity.
But like, do we? So like, is this plot that he has? Do we think that it's a plot that was kind of birthed from the gas, or is it like a long game he was always working on with like Bruce Wayne's money and like the bombs and stuff?
That's an open-ending question, and I like that it's an open-ending question. I mean, I don't think that he was planning this before he got gas personally, but I do like the idea that there's no, like the Killing Joke, multiple choice origins, like there's no definitive answer.
Well,
I feel like he did it after the gas. Like, he's all like, because his brother's like, do this, da-da-da. It's like, it felt like it was more of a retaliation of, you don't own me, I'm just going to destroy your whole legacy. Not destroy it, but more like make it mine so that there's people will think of me and not you. Because he's always believed, like if you listen to how he talks, like my brother is like beneath me, my brother is like a problem. And then he looks outside and everybody is worshiping his brother. That's damaging to his psyche because he always felt that he was the better brother, but his brother is getting recognition. Jerome is getting recognition and Jeremiah is not. So it makes more sense for him. And he said this at the end of the episode, and this is what got me. In order to start a new world, you have to tear the old one down.
Which Jerome said something like that, like earlier in the series. Like I saw a montage on YouTube, and he was like, I'm going to make Gotham a work of art by tearing it up and like putting it back up again.
Because Jerome clearly resented Jeremiah for like kind of screwing him over, but it's interesting because I guess Jerome ultimately wanted Jeremiah to destroy the city, despite how he felt about him. So it's interesting because it's like their feelings towards each other and what they both want to do seem to be similar while also kind of like divergent. They kind of snake around a lot.
This is a very dark version of Phil and Lil from Rugrats all grown up.
Lillian, Philip. Back and forth.
And of course, Jeremiah's Lillian.
Yeah,
Lillian's the smarter of the two.
You could tell Jeremiah and Jerome apart by the pink bow in their hair
and the ducky on their clothes.
They both have duckies on their clothes.
Oh,
one's wearing dress and one's wearing pants, though.
But they both have diaper, and also like pink and blue shoes.
Mm-hmm. You're Google imaging them right now, aren't you?
No,
I just remember. I used to love that show. Are you kidding me?
You dumb Valeska twins don't know nothing.
Well, I mean, like two seasons ago, we were always making like Chucky Finster jokes. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. For a while, like Bullock was Chucky Finster. Yeah, like I don't know about this homeless cop. This isn't a good idea. Like
a baby's gotta do what a baby's gotta do.
He pulled a screwdriver out of his underwear.
Why do you keep that in there? You have pockets. You have a coat pocket. Shut up. That's why. Whew. Okay.
We used a gift from a Bob.
A baby. I love that movie.
Me too.
Like a birdie singing in a tree. More like reptile.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to mention is that I like. It's interesting how he like Raish kind of sees some sort of interest in Bruce, and I think that's genuine. I think I can get why he is because Bruce is such an interesting character. But it's kind of cool how he's
very best friend.
I liked how he was like he would want to pour you in honey and feed you like beetles and stuff. I'd kill you. I'd shoot you in the head. But I'm not going to because I don't want you to die. It's like he's kind of like taking that whole villainous thing and like saying, no, you're alive because I don't want to kill you, but don't make me kill you. Please, he's like, I hope you don't try to stop me, and he like knocks him out. Like that was good shit.
Puts him in an open grave with Jerome too. Like really creepy.
That was the best shot ever. Oh my god, David got to hear me lose my shit. last night.
Grave Count 2.
I was like,
after last season.
what?
Grave Count.
Yeah, Grave
2.
Count 2. It's
Yeah,
true.
because homeless cop got buried alive.
I love that the gravestone said "second time's a charm."
Yeah, that was really good. That was a really good joke.
I need to write an epitaph just as good as that one.
I mean, how many people in Gotham have died twice? Gallivan.
God, yeah.
Barbara.
Finch Mooney.
I'm looking at the notes that I sent Donovan throughout, when I live watch it, and I totally forgot. I put in big letters, "Bulk encourages Gordon to let Lee go," and Gordon told him to f off.
I want to talk about that.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, never mind. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We're still talking about Jerome. I just got excited about Alvarez.
Yeah.
The ever alive Alvarez.
I get so excited about him. It's so sad.
Hey, he's outlasted Harvey Dent, Alan, and Montoya.
Did he have any dialogue in this episode?
And Sarah Essen.
Well, she died, but I think he had dialogue. Yeah. I think he posted. I'm looking at his Twitter right now because I think he posted.
Didn't have dialogue. He just stood around a lot in every scene, almost every scene.
I think he was name checked though.
Yeah, Gordon said, "Alvarez, get her out of here."
You got it, boss. It's him and Harper and Lucius are all kind of fighting for supremacy of dialogue.
And then he knocked out. He pushed Lee back and knocked her out of the wall.
Wait, he did that? That was Alvarez?
They were all backing up, and then there was a sharp jerk.
Oh wow! I was driving. I must have missed that.
In fairness, when I was watching, I thought that Lee just I couldn't see exactly how she got knocked back. It just looked like there was a scuffle. J.W. Cortez put on May 3rd, the night this episode airs, he said, "Keep your eyes peeled for your favorite Latino detective."
Oh, that's so sad. Keep your eyes peeled, as though it's hard to find them.
And then he put hashtag always Alvarez.
God bless him.
I love always that. That's I just clicked on the hashtag and see who else is posted, and there's some prom picture, us against the world, hashtag always Alvarez.
Wow, that's sad. But yeah, let's go back to Jerome.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I don't have much more to say about him in general. It's just what he did with the plum.
Again, kind of like how last season the Bruce and Jerome fight was one of the best things Gotham ever did. That whole scene at the graveyard where Jeremiah was revealing himself, I was like, I can't believe how good this is.
Right?
That's your treat for the Barbara Ross stuff from last week.
I know. It's you had to put up with this. Let's give you this. Okay.
I had to go through hell
okay.
to get through
okay, son.
I mean, I was honestly like this is such good writing. I should learn from this. It was
well
good.
done surprising us, because we knew that Jeremiah was going to be evil and and stuff like that, but they still managed to do
Surprise
a twist
us.
and surprise. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, I was just watching it, and I was like, "Oh, hey, look! What color is his tie?" And the guy, purple, and his shirt green. And I was like, "Okay, cool. Let's see how this goes." It looks like he's already the Joker. I was in my head, and then the further it went, I was like, or maybe he just likes purple and green.
Now here's a question, though.
I guess they're gonna go to I guess they're gonna go over to the graveyard. I was talking out loud. I guess they're going to go over to the graveyard. He's not there. That's when he's going to have his break. And then he turns around and he goes "I know it's you, brother." And I was like, whoa, this took what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was about that. Was
if only there was someone who loved you.
Well, the whole thing of did he predict that Bruce was going to go to the graveyard? I was a little confused about that. How much was that intention and how much that was just happenstance?
Oh, that was absolutely. He was manipulating Bruce to take him there, so that way he could because remember, he had them put Jerome's corpse there later on with the open grave.
He probably did try to use his words to have Bruce say we're just gonna go look at the grave.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can believe that. He had all this stuff planned well in advance, and he him and his brother are both master manipulators.
Well, it's interesting because like he at first feigned the idea that like the gas was making him crazy and being delusional, but that turned out to be a ploy to get basically to fuck with Bruce. Screw with Bruce, I guess. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm just trying to kind of make sense of what he was doing.
He was saying, my brother's alive, and he knew if he said that enough, Bruce would be like, okay, I'll show you that your brother's, like, not alive. Like, it's like when you're 5 years old, and you're like, Mommy, there's a monster in the closet. Your mom's eventually going to open the closet and say, see, there's no monster. Like, so, and unless your mom's like a jerk and says, yes, it is in the closet, and he's going to eat you if you don't do your homework. Good night.
Some moms do that. Well, I mean, I'm glad that like the Gotham didn't show its hand by like Bruce like, come on, let's go to the graveyard, and like Jeremiah's like, yes, graveyard. I'm glad they didn't do that.
They Sophia'd
with the thriller eyes.
They Sophia'd it hard.
The new verb.
They must have. Yeah, no, because Sophia, like Josh called it, but the way that they played it out in the show, it wasn't an easy connection until she's like, yeah, I brought him here.
Yeah. She's talking about Sophia bringing Pig there when she says that.
Because they had no interactions until like she revealed, sort of thing. So to me, like if you're not catching up on the context clues, like the purple tie with the green shirt, which is like watching Gwen Stacy in her death outfit in Spider-Man 2.
Kevin Cushing.
Actually, that was me. That led. Oh, she's not going to die. That's just her Halloween costume.
That's so obvious. All right, never mind.
They were just joking, Dawn. She was smiling the whole time, Dawn.
I'm chucking in all this gaslighting around. Well, I mean, this is an apropos of nothing, but like, I'm on Reddit now, which we hate. And one thing I'm realizing is that like when he was gassed a couple episodes ago, at the very end of that episode, Jeremiah he kind of had that whole killing joke thing, kind of squeezing his face as he was like kind of going crazy. It's like, oh, look at that. That's nice.
It's nice.
But
it's an episode that benefits from a second viewing.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, he went to the graveyard. He said the brother thing, and then he went outside. And I thought that was like really cool how he took Bruce on this journey and then said, "You helped me become who I am." Like that was a nice callback for me to what is it called? Batman '89. And he's like, "You made me."
Mm-hmm.
You made me. I made you first. How childish can you get?
Give me your grave.
It's so good.
As Kim Basinger dances with Jeremiah, it's a beautiful dreamer. We should watch Batman '89 during the hiatus.
Batman and Batman Returns.
He goes straight into Batman and Robin. Right on the commentary for that one.
Then I just Returns. Like bleach my eyes and my soul.
It's like, wow, Robin Lord Taylor, you've aged horribly.
Yeah, 20 years prior, it seems like a teenager.
Well, what'd you expect? And Karen B. Condova, you've aged well.
Ew.
Morph into a very beautiful Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, that's a comment on Michelle Pfeiffer.
I know, but the way you said it was gross.
Fair enough.
You were like 5, but now you're delectable, is what it sounded like.
I was thinking about that,
you know,
but whatever.
They did that with Poison Ivy.
First, I was a seed. Then I was a weed. Then I was a sprout. Then I was like, by season 6, you know, when we're on like our 9th, we did that Willow. Gag. Like she was like, yeah, like.
They should recast her to a much older woman and throw us all off.
It'll just be Helen Mirren next time.
Right. I think that's what we said at one point.
And then I'll have like a crisis because Helen Mirren is.
Do you ever see the episode of The Office where they were like saying that the hottest girl in the world would be a pregnant Helen Mirren, and Dwight's like, what are you guys talking about?
Because Helen Mirren is gorgeous.
They were trying to make Pam feel better because she felt like she was ugly because she was pregnant. They're like, oh no, lots of women are like Helen Mirren. You know, she's older and she's attractive. Oh, and if Helen Mirren was pregnant, she'd be attractive too. And then like Dwight's like, what are you guys talking about? A pregnant Helen Mirren is your ideal woman?
Yes.
So speaking of ideal women, let's talk about Boris and Natasha this episode, a.k.a. Lee Enigma.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about that scene at the beginning in the interrogation cell?
Yeah, I totally forgot until I looked at what I live texted Dom, which I'm glad that I do those live texts, because like when I go back and like look at them, I remember little details that like I forgot. Like, yeah, Bullock, corrupt as heck, is like, why don't you just unlock the door and let Lee leave? And like Gordon rightfully tells him to F off.
Yeah,
like,
that was ridiculous. I mean, it was in character, but like again, it's like every time they're corrupt, I'm just like, can we not? And I'm glad. I really liked. I actually really liked Gordon in this first scene. Like, don't throw that crap in my face. Get out of here. Let me do my job. I non-ironically liked him in this episode.
All right, Lee. There's only one way out of this situation, and it involves you, me, and a bottle of wine.
Oh no! Don't do that. That's horrible. That's insidious.
And she's like, "Come." She's like, "Come. Live with the Narrows. You can be free." No, wait, hold on. What's the real estate situation there? When you say live in the Narrows, is there like an apartment available? You know, like does this arrangement come with a home? You know, hypothetically speaking.
We have a free dumpster sold.
Better than what I got now.
I don't know. I don't know how much I like. If there's one thing I don't like with this episode, I don't know how much Lee turned into like a freedom fighter. It's like, you must fight the banks and the people who prey on the innocent. And it's like, okay, what?
You're like, dude, you're partnered with the Riddler, okay? And like, like
that was really like 14-year-old teenage anarchist is
yeah,
like,
honestly, yeah, like
yeah, we're learning about this now, and it's like that's why you're robbing banks to like for the little guy.
Fight the
it
power.
Doesn't really
like
bother me so much.
She teamed with Penguin like a month ago. if
you remove the non-Lee elements of the situation. Oh god, like the whole robbing banks thing, like her reasoning and her mindset makes sense to me for the character. For the same one who left Stephanie Brown to die. And I'm just going to keep bringing that up.
But by all means, it's one of the stupidest things that the comic ever did. Although, like, there was also that stupid moment in No Man's Land where she's like, Batman, you're Mr. Zaz, the serial killer's not the monster. You're the monster. Like, just stop that. Like, she did that all the time in the comic. She's like,
yeah, she said that to Gordon. You're part of the problem.
Because he is.
Killer Croc, the cannibal is not the monster. You're the monster, Batman, for trying
Gordon
to stop him.
Said like, we get away with shit worse than this on the weekends, man. Let's just let her off, and I'm the only one here. Like, Bullock, stop telling me I'm corrupt, but you are corrupt. I know.
How many ex-fiancés have I had to drag in this interrogation room? Ugh.
Ridiculous.
That should be his home.
Well, it's funny because when he was fighting those Jerome people in the locker room earlier, I was like thinking of all like the jokes like "you bother me in my house," like.
Oh God! If you had said you come into my house.
I don't know if I said this on air, but like I was gathering when I was getting clips for the like Little Mermaid parody where like Lee says you live here and it's the locker room. I watched that scene again for the first time in years, and like. It was more horrifying than I remember. Like, Marina Baccarin walks into that locker room and sees, like, the shirt hanging up and, like, Gordon's possessions there. And, like, it's horrifying. I'm like, wow. Like, for some reason, she didn't turn around and walk out the door right then and there. She just, like, dived into that relationship head first. Like, all right, here we go. Like,
nothing like getting into a relationship with a man who is not stable.
And like, I can't remember that it was your idea to give you a job.
And also, has another personality and also robs banks. And also kills people.
Enigma,
I mean, I'm just saying.
What did you say? You're a riddle. That's the greatest thing you've ever said to me.
Smartest man in Gotham.
you try to be something else, I don't know. I mean,
you're so upset.
It is not like 1,000 miles away for her to like fight for the little guy, but like I found like Lee, you're committing crimes, you're robbing banks, you're breaking the law, and she's like, oh yeah, well I'm just fighting the corrupt banks. I was like, that's not what you say in that situation.
It is when your boyfriend is a homeless cop.
You say, I want a lawyer. You never read me my rights.
Get Alvarez in here.
Look, she understands. She understands.
Oh my
that.
God, she has such a case against them. She's like, okay, I like the lawyer would be like, I move that this case be dropped. On what grounds? Well, on malicious prosecution, number one, you never read her your rights. Number two, apparently you offered her a special deal, like under the table, which you shouldn't be doing because of your previous relationship. Number three, you should have recused yourself from the case in general because you shot her husband a year after she miscarried your baby. Like, you can't be biased in your prosecution of her. Like, so the prosecutor's biased right then and there. The person who arrested her never read her rights. It's like...
Did he also arrest her last year when she was on the touch virus?
I don't know. I don't think she was actually arrested.
Like on the train?
No, she was sent on a train to get out. She came back. She fell asleep, and the train came back.
That's what she said in the in like an interview at Comic-Con. She's like...
I know. That's where I got it from.
Yeah, she just like wrote him a letter like, Dear Gordon, like Gotham will always be your home in a city of homeless, but I must go and never return until I return to the Narrows.
If I want to end my life, I should start playing a drinking game with how many times you cram the word homeless into a conversation. Gotham will always be your home in a city of homeless. Yeah, she would write that into a letter.
I want to go back and like listen to like season 1 of the podcast to see like how this homeless thing like just grew, like. But the scene was there in the pilot.
You tend to latch onto things that you like, and then you run them into the ground until they grow up the other side.
Well, I mean, there's jokes on this podcast that kind of like naturally went away, like Barbara Keene being Kermit the Frog, Bullock being Chucky.
I never understood that at all.
That was.
We were drunk one night and recorded it.
Yeah, you guys were like die laughing, and I'm just like, I don't understand this. And you kept like saying, "She's the frog," and I'm like, okay. And then it went away because it didn't make any sense. It went away
because Barbara went crazy, and like the frog thing was like the least of our concerns. Like, but yeah, there's jokes like homeless sex and riddle sex, and there's other ones that just like kind of never really.
Well, homeless sex goes under homeless.
Right. Riddle sex is when it's Riddler.
Yeah, that hasn't happened in a while, so.
I don't know. I think it was about to happen under those stairs.
Yeah, I was sitting there like, is this happening? And then Fox was like, no.
You used to work here. Actually, they both used to work there. God.
Yes, they did.
When she says, you've changed so much into a friend of mine, Ed, I was thinking, Kringle! And then I stopped because I didn't care. But like, it is interesting how that's...
Neither did Lee. That's honestly, I'm still not entirely buying this relationship, and like.
Well, they were like friends for like not that long. Were they friends before she started working there or after?
I remember.
I think she would have known him before she started.
He liked her, like not kind of crush on her, but when she worked there, he liked her because she treated him with more respect than the previous medical examiner did.
No, I'm talking about Kringle and.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we were told that they were friends, and we saw them like socialize like once or twice.
But she brought it up at the beginning of the season, though, which is why it's still
I'm
viable.
sure in off-panel land, they constantly went out drinking with Harvey Dent and Alan and Montoya, and like had girls' nights out.
I kind of feel like maybe they started being friends because she was the only other female in the department at the time.
And they had a double date, so like there's that too, like girls always bond in double dates, like.
As you would know,
had this experience.
In fiction, they do.
Yeah, I haven't double dated often. There's probably a good reason for that. I think my last double date was high school.
2 years ago.
I keep on joking about how I'm excited about finishing 8th grade because one of the kids who I work with, Alex, who you met, he's graduating 8th grade, and I've been helping him with all of his school projects for like the last like year, and it's been like I've been really involved in. I'm like, oh, finally finishing 8th grade. ... again, like I'm Billy Madison. But yeah, any more thoughts on Lee? I'm not buying her being so into Ed, but that's what the show's selling me. So I mean, I'm gonna have
even
to
Riddler said, "Don't string me along." Like, or he said something in this episode is like, I'm still.
Don't wrap me around your finger.
Yes,
is what he said.
Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to?
I remember everything he said in this episode because he was like,
That's like Jan's catchphrase.
Especially in that clown costume. Oh.
Except for the clown costume. But he's like, this will be easier than I thought. Opens the thing. The Riddler! We're saved! Close.
That was nice.
That was such a nice, fun beat for that guy. He remembered.
One thing that I do like is, like, he's not doing any murders while he's with her. Like, he's like, we can't use any lethal forces because then Lee won't be happy with me. So at least there's that. Like, if she was, like, standing by and, like, condoning him killing people, I'd be a little more upset.
Yeah, that's a really nice touch.
Yeah, that would really be annoying. I'm not sure where this is going because I feel that like when this show ends, I can't imagine the Riddler and Leslie Tompkins continuing to be a thing. It's interesting to explore, but like I feel that the show itself is having us question what she thinks about him. And even though she's saying that she likes him, she likes how he changed, and she values him as a friend and maybe more, something like that. I feel that the show is. I think that there's something to Leslie that is being kept close to the chest, and I'm interested to see. I mean, I thought that with Ra's al Ghul, and I fell on my ass. So maybe it's not true, but I'm wondering.
We have 2 more episodes.
Yeah, and it's no man's land. It is no man's land. Like,
what if that doesn't mean what we think it means? What if at the end of, like, Gordon's actually dead, and then the next episode, like, Bullock and Lucius, like, Bruce all die. So, like, the next season is no man's land. There's no man. It's just going to be Barbara, Tabitha, Selena, Lee.
Bruce is suddenly a Brusa.
He gets
That's
a sex change.
He's Kate Kane.
He doesn't need to have a sex change. He just needs to switch his gender.
I've run out of women. Like
Tabitha.
Well, it would be the Sirens, and I guess Sophia
Harper
can wake up
runs
from
the
her
GCPD.
And there's no crime at all because, like,
and Echo.
women run the world. Oh yeah, Echo. Yeah. I don't have that much to say about Penguin and Butch that I didn't already like joke about.
They're so funny.
Yeah, I mean, other than I like them, they were funny, and why are they thinking that they're gonna have to pay Hugo Strange? They can just like force him to do it like everyone else has.
Hugo
Like
Strange is taking us back to Vegas. His voice.
Yeah, like Fish Mooney, like when she wanted Strange to like cure her, she just kidnapped him. She wasn't like, we must find a way to raise $10,000 so we can pay for Hugo Strange's treatment.
She's not Paul Lynde.
Look, there's a talent contest on TV. Like a singing group wins $10,000.
Yeah, get them, Scouts.
like the Brady Bunch had to do in that one episode.
What the hell do you think Genevieve Smith sounds like?
Oh my god, I had such a huge oh wait, never mind. I did really like their whole Laurel and Hardy act. It was fun.
Yeah.
I did enjoy, like, he was giving him, like, that whole background story, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy is, like, totally scared. And then Penguin goes, are you done here?
I just want to make him pee his pants.
And then they both just smile.
And they're and I love how, like, because they tore down, like, the set for Gordon's house to build this Falcone house, they can't just like let the set go unused. So like they have
they're
that line,
squatting.
Like, yeah, they're squatting in Falcone's mansion. Like, why didn't I think of that?
Right? Oh my
but
god.
Like, yeah, actually, like, yeah, like Carmine's dead, Sophia's dead. Like, no one's
Mario's dead.
That was an interesting thing. Yeah, they're like in the Falcone home. That wasn't
Mario's dead for sure. Yeah, like until Alberto Falcone, like, knocks on the door, like, with his suitcase. Like, yeah, no one's using that house. Like, he's a dead man walking if he shows up on that show, though.
Who?
Yep,
Alberto Falcone.
It's true.
Falcone's other kid, like that bloodline is just going to be wiped out by Gordon and Lee.
Hey, coma.
Yeah, but I don't see her walking around and doing things, so.
Falcone lasted like 4 seasons, but, they eventually got him, so I'm sure that Sophia will make it to the end.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe she'll be like the Carmine Falcone of the Batman mythos in this reality. Like,
that would be so amazing. She's so good.
Yeah, I like her.
I like Jan's setup and then follow up with a whisper. I mean, she could be like the Hangman.
Yeah. But yeah, but any more thoughts on Penguin and Butch? Like, I don't think we have too much to say
They
about
sure
them.
were in the episode.
The chicken bones, though.
Yeah, chicken bones. Yeah, which is only making Don hungrier.
I'm sorry.
Maybe.
I'm sorry, Don.
For you listeners, there's a running joke throughout this episode because Don was betrayed by his lunch order, so he's waiting to eat until we're done recording, and like food related stuff keeps on happening. Like at one point, this was edited out. Like Jan's like, can I say your dad? Like, are we allowed to say?
Yeah, my dad brought me pizza.
Yeah. Jan's dad like brought her pizza and like.
The last episode was chicken nuggets, right?
Yeah, chicken nuggets.
The running subplot. What will Jan eat? Okay, so there was those. Is that the other? I mean, the only other plot line is really Alfred got beat up, which is a cliffhanger. I think is
Hold
that
on.
everything?
Hold on. We totally neglected the whole part where they get to the GCPD. They use the casket as a ram to open up the door.
And it's a
The
cooler.
casket is full of beers. I was just like, this is the best wake ever. I want to be here. And I was like, but where's the body? And then later you see it in the grave, and I was like, this is actually freaking brilliant. Every single cop in the precinct is armed. And there's too many. We got to get out of it. I was like, what?
But it's bullets. But
That's a good
it's
point.
closed. It's a very very closed space where like you can hit someone.
Aw, they're marksmen, Josh. They can't go to the
Hold
police
on.
academy.
First of all the cops are on one side. They've all backed up already. They come through the door, which is a bottleneck. You can shoot them. But they were like, oh no, there's too much. We got to run away. And I was just like, oh, okay, I guess. And then they're run out of there. Like, if you want to say like, oh yeah, they didn't want to hurt the civilians. They're just crazy. That's one thing.
Eventually, they're going to run it. Guns have to reload, and there's a lot of people. And I think that their plan, for once, their plan wasn't completely stupid. Like, it actually worked. So, aside from the JCVD being damaged because of this wild kegger.
Bullock took the beer out of the coffin and drank it. I was like, why would he? Of course he would.
He handed it to Harper. He handed one to Harper too, and she just held it. She was like, "Thanks."
I love
Nobody
Harper.
said anything, and I was just like, you know what? After that kind of day, I wouldn't either. She's like, yeah, just have the beer.
I love Harper being the straight man to Gordon and Bullock. Like, I want her and
Bullock.
Alvarez. Gordon and Bullock, yeah. Like, I want there to be an episode where like Gordon and Bullock are like missing for the entire episode. So it's like Alvarez and Harper have to like solve the mystery, and they solve.
My favorite thing is that you said you ship them when Alvarez is married with 2 kids.
I
what?
don't
Yeah,
remember.
mentioned in the first episode.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he got a divorce.
No.
Well,
that person.
he left his wife after Poison Ivy, obviously.
or maybe we know that Harper's not his wife.
Yes, we don't. I mean, what are they trying to say? Like they would have mentioned that. Like, here's his wife, Harper, whose last name is Harper.
Well,
But her last
she's
name's Harper.
just trying to hold on to that fickle hope that they're together.
She's independent of her husband. Like, her whole identity isn't I'm Alvarez's wife. You know, when you introduce someone,
Yeah,
you're not.
I mean, it's not like I have his kids or anything.
She has her own job.
Josh, what are you arguing?
Josh is just trying to keep his ship alive.
The stakes aren't that
Like,
high.
I just remember,
Did he
like,
really
he was at
say
the
in the
interview, he was like,
pilot?
I secretly shipped them because clearly Alvarez cheats on his wife with Harper.
I don't
I thought you were
Did
saying
he
Harper.
really say that he had a
Go back
wife?
and watch the first episode.
It's the
He's like,
pilot,
I got
right?
a family I need to take care of. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to do the right thing so that my kids have a good example.
Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Was this the pilot?
No, it's not the pilot. It was like
The first episode or the second episode. Whichever one he switched over to helping Gordon.
I'm on YouTube. There are videos of Alvarez somehow.
Of course there are.
Alvarez attacks the GCPD. Sizzle reel. Gordon says up to Plas. J.W. Cortez. Party massacre. Bullock stands up for Gordon.
I mean, does he specifically say wife? Because you could have a kids without having a wife.
No, Josh, I'm not going down this road. He's got a family.
Let's ask the
All right.
writers.
I will. There's not enough time for me to like actually look up the scripts while we're recording right now, so we will table this and get back to the.
I like how you're like, well, now it just means he doesn't have a wife because I want him and Harper to be boning.
I mean, the stakes aren't that high if I want them, but like, I do think it would be fun for them to
Because I
partner.
had that whole, you missed like the whole thing where I was like, I just want, you were on board with this when I said I wanted like a whole day in the life of Alvarez when Gordon goes over to their home and then meets his wife and children, and you're like, yeah, that'd be great. And then now you're like,
well,
yeah,
that's a hypothetical.
Yeah, I thought it was a hypothetical wife and kids. Like, we don't know what his life is. But I would like an episode where they team up, even if it's a platonic team up, Alvarez and Harper, and like Gordon and Bullock are missing, and they just like solve the plot of the week.
Basically,
in, like,
Rosencrantz, Guildenstern are dead.
Well,
the episode.
They solve the plot in like 10 minutes because like without Gordon homeless copying everything up, like, you know, like they're actually competent. Like, oh wow, you know, we did it. You know,
and also Lucius will be there.
Yeah. Just make all the supporting players of the G. Like, can we really manage the GCPD without Gordon and Bullock? Spoiler alert: yes, we did. And like, the plot's over in 10 minutes. Then they just spend the rest of the episode, like, you know, having a dance party or something. That'll be the musical episode that all the other shows have done.
So the Fucon Cricket says the next episode is called One Bad Day. As Gotham falls into complete anarchy, a team of unlikely heroes step up to save it. Bullock takes the lead at the GCPD, and Bruce's psychological limits are tested as those close to him are put in danger. In the all-new A Dark Knight, One Bad Day episode of Gotham airing Thursday, May 10th, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Guest starring Cameron Monaghan as Jeremiah Valeska, David W. Thompson as Scarecrow, Peter McRobbie as Mayor Pritchard, and Shiva Selvan as Lelia.
Lila.
But it's not spelled Lila. Lelia? L-E-L-I-A?
Lelia.
Have they said her name out loud in the episode before?
I don't think so.
Shiva Kalasan guest stars as a character.
As Barbara Keane's sycophant. All right, and they did accidentally release a few clips from that episode. Like, and if you want to know where to find them, they're on YouTube, because even though Gotham's official page took them down, like, other sites had them reposted. So, like, looking forward to next week and seeing what
Catwoman versus Scarecrow. Because oh my god.
Oh yeah, you just watched the promo?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
It looks like so good.
Tear gas Bruce. Yeah, I'm hoping 2 more episodes left. This is nuts. We're getting close to the season finale. Season 4 is almost
I would say
done.
this has been a short season, so like it sounds about right.
It's just as long as every other season's been episode-wise. It just doesn't have the insane like breaks that season 3 had, where it's like, okay, we're back for 2 episodes, now a 9-month break. Like,
did you watch the promo for the next one? Because it looks like Jeremiah gets a little, not as manic, but he gets a little bit more animated because it shows him screaming.
I saw it. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that we'll see it more. Like, and there's different forms of animation. Like, you don't have to be Jerome animated. There's like different ways of being. You know, my Joker is a little more energetic in my brain. Not to say that he's doing a bad job now. I want to see more, but I like what I've seen so far, if that makes sense.
I don't know. For me, it's like, we've already seen the more. I want to see the new thing and see what they're doing with that.
Well, the new thing could be more. It could be more of a new thing.
We'll see.
I do like that he does have the whole Jack Nicholson-esque outfit going with the hat.
Heck yeah.
While he does the Heath Ledger thing on the steps.
Yeah.
They're still taking elements, which is cool.
What's the Heath Ledger thing on the steps?
Oh, when they're all lined up in front of the police department?
That's one of the scenes that they accidentally released like a promo of early, and like
gotcha.
Cameron Monaghan's like, don't watch that. That spoils this week's episode, and that's for next week's episode. Like, Cameron Monaghan like went on social media and said, like, don't watch the wrong preview.
As you do.
No iTunes reviews recently, but hey, leave us some iTunes reviews. Even if you don't like what we have to say, you could leave You can leave a sarcastic iTunes review, like, oh, 5 stars. It's my favorite podcast ever. And
Just that sarcastic.
Yeah, because we won't know. We'll be like, oh, wow, this person really likes... Every single positive review that we've had so far has been sarcastic, and I've just been misreading it. Like, I love the song parodies. They're so funny.
We should do a thing where, like, if a listener sends in a really good song parody, they'll, like, get a prize or something.
Yeah, send in the song parodies. Save us the work. It took me, like, hours to get that Gaston one right. Like... after Little Mermaid and Mulan, so I think Disney is a pretty good, well to mine. So maybe I'll just see what Disney has to offer for the rest of the season. But yeah, we're getting closer.
Oh my gosh, Disney.
But yeah, leave us some feedback because we like reading it and then making fun of you asking us questions about our personal lives. Just kidding, we all love you. This is Josh.
This is Don.
This is Jan. And Holly.
And Jerome. And Jeremiah.
Why did Jeremiah turn into Mickey Mouse?
I don't know.
Someone grab his balls?
And Alvarez. And Alvarez's wife. And Alvarez's kids. And Alvarez's elderly Bubby who lives in the guest room because he's so sweet taking care of her.
You mean abuela?
His abuela, yes. And you've been listening.
That's my pal!
Homer's gone!